The Saint-Quentin-en-Yvelines BMX Stadium, which is a 5-minute walk from the velodrome complex just outside of Paris, will host the BMX Racing competition for the upcoming Olympic Games in the French capital. Hoping to be behind the start gate is South African teenager 18-year-old Miyanda Maseti. Since its debut as a sport at the Beijing 2008 Games, an African woman has never competed in BMX racing, and Maseti is hoping to change that. She joins us now. Very good evening and welcome to Newzroom Afrika.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
So, tell us a little bit about your journey in BMX racing and where this dream of representing South Africa on the greatest stage came from.
For me, I just started riding in 2015 because it looked like a really cool sport, and I was like, I just want to try that. And then, over the years, I started getting better and better, and at my first World Championships, when I first watched it, I got to watch the elite racing, and I decided then that that's what I wanted to do. And when I found out that it was an Olympic sport, that became an even bigger goal for me to pursue.
Yeah, and there's not too many South Africans that participate in BMX racing. Sfiso was our poster child for the sport for many, many years. Where did you kind of maintain your motivation for the sport?
I maintain my motivation because I enjoy the sport so much, because for me it's more about enjoyment, and then I just happen to be kind of good at it.
Yeah.
So for me, the motivation comes from the enjoyment of the sport.
Yeah. And it's also a sport that can be quite dangerous if you come off at such high speed through one of the whoop sections or, you know, like off one of the ramps. So tell us a little bit about how you've managed to deal with the injuries.
Recently I just had one of the worst crashes I had in my career. But for me, it's just more to get up and take your time to recover from it, because injuries can have a lasting effect. So take the time to recover for it, make sure you're ready, and then, just get back into it.
Okay, so can you share the battle story with us?
Yes, in 2022, November, I broke my jaw at a pump track competition in Chile. Yeah, so I had fluid buildup in my brain, so I had to be out for 6 months because I couldn't really do much.
Oh, and what did Mom and Dad say when you said, I'm just getting better, but I'm getting back on the bike?
My mom was not too happy about it.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, but my dad was very encouraging. He saw that I wanted to, and he was just encouraging me to do what I wanted to do.
So 2022, that was just 2 years ago. I mean, you just completed matric only last year, so you have been competing at the highest level at international events, all while studying. How have you managed to do that?
It was pretty hard, I won't even lie, but I was schooled online, so whenever I traveled to a place, I could take my school with me and do my schoolwork as I was on the road. So whenever I had time, I would go study, I would finish my assignments, and I'd write my tests. And the school that I was at was pretty lenient, so they'd let me write at a later date.
And all of this just because of a love of BMX racing, or what it feels like to be on the bike?
Yes, always.
You are one of the Bidvest OPEX athletes, so you get support from our National Olympic Committee to be able to reach your dream of actually going to the Olympic Games. How important is that in your sport? Because, it is a smaller, what they would say, a Cinderella sport.
Yes, it is pretty hard to get funding, especially in BMX, because for one, it's not a really known sport and it's not as big as, let's say, athletics. So sponsors are looking for advertisement through their sports, and seeing that when you ride BMX, it's only 40 seconds, so they mostly get 40 seconds of airtime. So it's really hard to ask for sponsors, especially coming from South Africa, where there's not much, BMX isn't that big and there's not much hype around it, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's really important to me, and I really do appreciate Bidvest and OPEX, the OPEX program, because it helped me get so much more training at the tracks, because we don't have the facilities here. Yeah. So get training on the 8-meter hill and all of that, and it really helped me with that, with my confidence to be able to go to Paris.
And the other thing is that you've just come back from Zolder in Belgium, where you were competing in a European Cup event, and this weekend is a major one, is the African Championships in Zimbabwe, where, you know, all of these events are helping you go that much closer to Olympic qualification. And I suppose without people behind you, that wouldn't really be possible, would it?
Yes, it wouldn't be at all possible, because BMX, like the travel to get to all the racing, because there's not much BMX international racing in South Africa. I think the African Champs is the only international event that we do have. So being able to go to like all the countries where the races are at and get a training and race experience with the top riders is really important, and it only helps me get better. So with the support, it really helped.
So how do you actually manage training then, being in South Africa, without the kinds of tracks that you actually need, that you would come, you know, face to face within a competition environment?
For me, you just like make do with what you have. For me, I just practice like the basics and the small things that I need to fix in my riding. And most of the time I also go to gym and do like off-bike work. So it's like a mixture of both, because the tracks do help like with the basics. So for me, I'm just practicing my basics and improving with that.
Do you believe you will be able to be the first woman from the continent to qualify for BMX racing at the Olympic Games?
I really do hope so. It is one of my dreams, so I'm working towards achieving it.
Do you feel any pressure with the history kind of bearing down on you?
Not really. The pressure is a lot, and I really do want to do it for all the people who are watching, because it really does prove a point that we can do it, and we can ride, and we can have a goal and pursue it and achieve it. But for me, if it happens, that will be the best thing ever. But if it doesn't, I'll keep working towards it for the next Olympics.
Well, we wish you all the best of luck in Zimbabwe this weekend and in the build-up to the Olympic Games in Paris, France.
Thank you so much.
Miyanda Maseti is a BMX racer, only 18 years old. Sure, big dreams and certainly very inspiring.